Hey, it's Mazzy, and this is something a little different. I'm not gonna show you records, I'm gonna show you a guitar. A really wonderful guitar, and a guitar I've lusted after for years. Maybe not quite this version, but this will do just fine. This will do, pig, this will do. You can see it, can't you? This is Rocky. This is a Fender Signature Series Rocky, George Harrison's guitar, or a replica thereof. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of the history. If you are a Beatle fan and a guitar person, you might know the story already. But I never assume that everyone watching this knows everything. There's always that one wanker who's gonna say, I know that story, let's just see the friggin' guitar and skip the story. But you know, not everyone knows this story, and it's a wonderful story. It's great to play raga guitar. Anyway, this is Rocky. Several years ago, Fender put out a version of Rocky that was from the custom shop, and I think that went for $20,000 to $25,000. Very limited edition, hand painted. This is the recent Signature Series. So I believe this is one of the Fender Stratocasters that was made in Mexico, but it has a beautiful sound to it. But let me tell you a little bit about the history of Rocky. George Harrison really wanted a Stratocaster. In the early Beatles, we all know he played the Gretsch Country Gentleman and the Dayglow, the Black Glow, the Gretsch. I'm gonna say Dayglow. That's quite the Freudian. The Jet Glow, the Jet Black Glow. Anyway, he played the Gretches, and he always wanted a Strat. Didn't get one until 1965. Isn't it bizarre that it was hard to get Stratocasters in the UK? I mean, just like that. Geez. So they sent out Mal Evans. Mal Evans was the Beatles' road manager since the very beginning, literally the beginning. If you've seen the film Help, he's a swimmer that comes out of the water several times, comes out of the ice several times. You can see it in him in Get Back, and he was there the entire duration of while the Beatles were together. Him and Neil Aspinall were really part of the family. They didn't have huge crews like bands have today, or have had in the last 40 years. It was really a small, tight outfit. So they sent Mal out to the local store in London to pick up Strats for John and George. And Mal comes back with two 1961 Sonic Blue Stratocasters. 1961, and this is in 1965. That is the color blue of the original Strat. 60 Strats. Rosewood fingerboards. This is an alder body. And George first uses it on Ticket to Ride, and he uses it on Help. But then the solo in Nowhere Man, there you go. I'm not gonna play it, I can't play it. There you go. And of course, that great Stratocaster was used in Rubber Soul and Revolver throughout it by George Harrison. And of course, John Lennon had his with that beautiful, beautiful Sonic Blue finish. So, cut to 1967. There's a Sgt. Pepper comes out. There's a release party. Beatles have a release party at Brian Epstein's house, and around that time, George buys a set of Dayglow paints, which were fairly new at the time, and he paints the guitar. And he takes some of his wife at the time, Patty Boyd's, Layla Patty, something Patty, in the future, nail polish, and psychedelicizes this guitar. And we all finally see it in the debut of All You Need Is Love. the worldwide broadcast, and we see it in Magic Mystery Tour during the I Am the Walrus segment. There's Rocky. In 1969, he adds to it. He paints Bebop a Loobop, a few little bit flourishes, and people are going to mock me. He paints a picture of Eric Clapton on the neck. That's Eric Clapton with his afro from Cream. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So Mazzy has an Eric Clapton, has a guitar with Eric Clapton's image on it. It's got a nice tone to it. The pickups are mid-60s style Fender pickups. The neck it's an all 60s style guitar. This is basically like a pre-CBS. Those of you who are guitar wonks and Fender wonks, you'll know this is the pre-CBS period design. And it's designed pretty close to match. Now it is hand painted, so you can feel the texture. And when you look at it first, it almost seems like kind of this amateurish. Let me just look at that close up. Look at that reflection. Look how beautiful that is, I think. Beautiful in a psychedelic, funky, homemade way. And usually he had it open like this. It does come with a cover plate if you want to cover this up. It does have the George Harrison sort of signature with his Krishna signature. And it says UKCA. UK, Fender does are based also, they have offices and manufacturing in the UK, but most of it is actually in Asia, Mexico, and of course California. But this is I understand, is a Mexican made, although it doesn't say anywhere Mexican made, but it has a great tone to it actually, really a warm tone. Obviously right now I have it plugged through a Vox, was it AC30 amp, and this is kind of a nice touch. When they got the guitars originally, they got it right here at that store. And George's had Grimwood's The Music People sticker on it, so they reproduced the original sticker. I've had people ask me to show my guitars. I think I have about 7 or 8 guitars. Beatle-wise, I do have, and I'm not showing it in this video, I have the 325, the John Lennon signature Rickenbacker. Came out 20-something years ago, black. It's amazing how short neck that is. I do have, now it's not a signature, but I have a Rickenbacker 36012 V63. It's a 1963 version of the famous Rickenbacker 12-string that George Harrison played. It's not a signature guitar, but it's made to be like the 1963 Rickenbacker that was given to George Harrison when the Beatles were staying at the Plaza Hotel. And the story goes there, the Rickenbacker people came in to present this guitar to John Lennon. But the 3 of the Beatles were out playing and touring around New York City, Manhattan, and George was in bed with the flu that just before they went on to Ed Sullivan, so he had to be shot up. If you notice, on the first night at Ed Sullivan, George had the flu, or was just getting over the flu. Let's see how this sounds. I'm not going to give you a big test, but beautiful tone. I believe it's 21 frets, maybe. Look at that. How great is that? Let's check it through a little Vox with a little effects. I'll be right back. So before closing out, I thought I would show you one more guitar in my collection. It's another signature. It's a George Harrison Fedner signature of my favorite guitar of George's, and it is the Rosewood Telecaster as seen on Let It Be, Get It Back. That beautiful, beautiful rosewood finish. Now, this replica, look at the grain on this. So beautiful. Now, the original one that George got was like a ton. It weighed so much. This is chambered, which means it's sort of semi-hollow in the background. Again, it has the George Harrison signature there, the nameplate with the Krishna. And it's such a beautiful guitar. Look at this. Every time I play a George Harrison guitar, I feel I have to do a few raga riffs, raga rock. Since he turned me on to that whole sound. In closing, I just remembered something else I wanted to point out. It was Ry Cooder who really kind of got George into playing a bottleneck and slide guitar. And Ry Cooder suggested to George on the Strat, raise the bridge high, and he did. And this was the guitar, or the original that George had, Rocky, that he learned and started to play slide guitar at the end of the decade. It's not tuned for slide right now. I don't play slide very well. Anyway, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate all the support and hope you enjoy this a little bit different. Mazzy loves you.